Yeah, so I'd make a short video, which when I get talking probably ain't gonna end up being short, but this rain is just getting ridiculous. Yeah, it's just getting to the point, is it even worth trying to fight everything anymore? I mean, it's been about a week since I've baled any hay, mowed any hay, and there got rain in the forecast for the next week yet. And I mean, all I've done so far this year is I baled 95 bales of hay and I plowed about 7 acres of ground. Haven't got nothing planted yet. I mean, I'm not bitching because just like everybody else. I talked to one of the route drivers here yesterday, and one farm he was at, they milk close to 100 cows. He's got 6 acres of corn in. So I mean, everybody's going to be hurting this year. But the thing is, I got to do most of this myself. And like I said, I got the wagons ready. Haven't been able to chop. Even if it does quit raining, I don't have no place I can set my bagger up. The place I normally set up is just a mud hole yet. I rutted it all up this spring, and I can't get it leveled out. I could do another bag next to that one, but this field is wet. And even if I could set the bagger up, I don't even know if I could pull a load of silage up to it to unload it. So, like I said, this is June 18th. And, I mean, that should have been in the bag a month ago. And, I mean, one thing is saving us this year so far is we haven't had the heat to really push the hay to ripen it. I mean, it's stemmy and riper than what it should be, but still fairly a young stage. But ain't gonna have much feed value to it. I mean, it's getting to the point I'm tempted to... I mean, if we did get 2 or 3 good days, I might just see if I can get the neighbor's wrapper and just start wrapping it. I got to get it off somehow. At least maybe I can get a second cutting. I mean, the stuff I'm going to plant, Sprint and sorghum Sudan grass, I mean, I don't have to plant that until middle to end of July. And I'd still get a cutting out of it. But it's just getting frustrating. And then you have, I mean, I was going to make this video 3 days ago. And yeah, I probably would have ended up with a parental advisory on it. I mean, I got a hot temper and short-lived, and I'll just piss everybody off. There's too many people out there nowadays that are so weak-minded that a single word triggers them anymore. But the other things just keep adding up. Had to replace that last week. Right there is $2,600 for that. I was milking the one night and everything just quit. Everything's clicking, but the motor won't run. Breaker's fine. Well, I pushed in that thermal reset and it would kick on. I could milk about a half a cow and then it would kick out again. So I had a fan on it there and was able to get through milking. Had the company come out the next morning because this is going on at 2 o'clock in the morning. The guy comes out, well, one of the capacitors burned out in there. But he grabs this pulley on here and he said the bearing was out. Now, I didn't see that much play to say the bearing was out. But I know it made a hell of a rattle when it was running. And my options were they had a loaner pump they could set up. They would have sent the old pump head in to get rebuilt. And there's no guarantee I'd get the same pump head back. But if it was rebuildable, they would send another pump out. And then it would have been probably anywhere between $1,200 and $1,500. Well, I have a feeling that pump head wasn't going to be rebuildable. The way it was rattling. This is basically, if you know anything about cars, a supercharger. That's all it really is. It's got 2 lobes that mesh together, and it draws the air through the system and puts it out the exhaust. And I'm sure them things were banging together in there the way it was rattling, so I'm pretty sure it wasn't going to be rebuildable. But they had a new one, and it saves all that hassle setting the pump up and then coming back and changing it back and forth. And so I just went ahead and put the money into this one. Now, If the old head is rebuildable, I'll get a credit for it yet. So I might luck out here a little bit yet, but you just get stuff like this stacking up, and it's just a fight with everything. You got the weather. I've had problems in this barn, with the cows for 3 years now. I'm averaging 20 pounds less than where I should be on the tank. Cows don't milk. Talk to experts. I talk to different nutritionists, talk to vets. The one nutritionist brought guys out from a university. And it all comes back. Feed, water, and stray voltage. But, we'll check into this, we'll check into that, and they never get back to you. Well, I got a video I should post. I found out last year I did have stray voltage, and this is after the utility company came out and checked, and they said I had none. But I had an expert come in and check it, and he found that I did. And he said it was coming from the utility. And then they ended up fighting me on it a little bit. They didn't want to believe it. So, but they finally, because they said, normally when we have an issue, we have our expert come in and check. Well, that's not what they did 2 years ago when I asked them about it. They just had the line crew came in and check. Well, their expert came in, and he kind of him and hawed around. Basically, he made a decision to protect his ass both ways, and they put an isolator switch on. Well, now I don't see nothing in stray voltage, but cows really haven't come back to where they should be either. And it's just been a fight. I mean, I can't even get anybody to change light bulbs. I got 5 sets of lights up there. 3 lights are on one switch, and then 2 lights are on one switch. The 3 lights that come on, out of 12 bulbs, I got 1 bulb that works. And I can't get anybody to come in here and change them damn bulbs. Been trying for over a year for that. Well, I won't go up that high. Right there's 8 foot. That's basically 12 foot. And that's got to be probably about 15, 17 feet up to that. But I ain't climbing a ladder to do it. So I can stand on the skid steer platform. I can put a pallet on the pallet forks, make a platform. I'm going to buy new lights and I'm going to mount them there. That's if I stay in it here. I don't know. That's the other problem. I mean, I got 4 heifers up in the old milk barn that I can't bring down here because the last several heifers I bring in here can't stand up on the concrete. They're not used to walking on it. And I don't know if this is polished up that much over the years or what. But, I mean, the floor is grooved. But it's like, well, the grooves all go one way, so that even if their feet do hit it, they just kind of skid on it. And that's the other thing. I've been trying for over a year to find somebody that knows what to do. I mean, guys talk about micro grooving, cutting new grooves, scabbling. I don't know what the hell to do. So the equipment company I use, they're the ones that put the pipeline and stuff in. They're Mennonites out of Ohio. And I don't know why I didn't think about it before. So I asked the guy there the other day. Because usually, the one thing I notice with the Mennonites, if there is a need for something, there's somebody there that gets into it. You know, the one brother that was with this equipment company, he split off on his own and opened up an electric motor company, rebuilds electric motors. So it seems like I say, so they see a need for something, they jump to it. Well, I asked them there the other day, and they had a guy that does their concrete work and for them. I don't know if he's actually Mennonite or not, but they gave me his number. I talked to him yesterday, and yeah, they'll come in here and they'll cut grooves. I don't know how far apart they'll space them, but they'll go on a 30-degree angle to these grooves and saw new marks in them. Now, I don't think there's quite that much, but we kind of guesstimated there's like 3,000 square feet in these lanes and that holding pen and stuff down there. And He's got a special going right now, 10% off on it, at least I'm assuming any work this month. Doesn't have to be done this month, but wants it scheduled. And I don't know why I thought it would cost more than what it did. It's more of a job than what it was or whatever. But he says 45 cents a square foot to re-groove this. And he says it's about 3 hours work. So I told him, that was my biggest thing, whether I was going to be able to afford to swing it or not. I said, well, for that amount of money, I'm pretty sure I can work that in. So I'm scheduled. He'll call me here one day when he gets ready and we'll do it. But like I say, it's just a fight with everything. I mean, I've lost heifers because they can't stand up. I mean, had to get rid of them because they couldn't walk in here. Had problems with cows calving. I mean, I should be milking more cows than what I am. I should be shipping more milk than what I am. But like I say, nobody wants the small guy around anymore. I mean, if you want to start farming, forget it. I mean, right now in our area, I was talking with the feed guy there last year, the end of last year, who runs a feed truck. The mill's lost over 12 farms at that point, that year. And he said there's like 3 or 4 more guys. They were just waiting. All they were doing was feeding out what they had on hand, and then they were selling the cows. I mean, there's only 3 farms left in my township. At one time, I could name off 15, at least 15 farms in this township. I think in the 3 townships around me, I can only think of about 6 or 7 farms left anymore. I mean, I used to be able to sit here and name off 35, 40 farms. And these guys are just going out. For some reason, they think you got to have these big mega dairies, and I think that's what is ruining the perception of the dairy industry and why people are shying away from milk. You know, through the cruelty to animals and stuff. Because these big farms are nothing but just numbers, and it's just a factory. Push them in, push them out. They just don't care anymore. But someday, people are going to wise up. All these big farms, they're just bank financed. None of them guys care to pay anything off. All they care is that they can cash flow it. Because they're paid a salary. They don't matter if what the profit is. Their salary's figured into their bottom line. And as long as they can make the interest payments, the banks will keep lending it to them because they're so deep into them, they can't afford them to go under. But you wait. Someday, the stock market is going to crash. And these banks are going to go under. And these farms are going to go under. And then there's going to be a shortage of food. You know, you're better off having 10, 50 cow dairies than one 500 cow dairy. You know, the 500 cow dairy is kind of manageable, but there's farms out there 5,000 cows. I saw a video on YouTube here one time. They were building an 8,000 cow dairy. And I mean, it don't matter to them. They ain't making a certain amount, down the road they go. You know, it ain't like this here. Big pets, big babies. Ain't ya? Yeah. I mean, I got a cow in here right now. Hasn't milked a drop of milk in probably 6, 7 months. Well, it's one of my wife's favorite cows, and she's a pet cow. I mean, she should be gone. But it's just getting damn frustrating. Like I say, I mean, the mood I was in here 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I was about ready to say hell. Well, I'm still ready to say the hell with everything, but my temper just swings back and forth. I mean, it's getting frustrating. That's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to get enough feed up. Nobody wants to help. That's the other thing. Like I say, people think I'm nuts. I mean, I haven't had anybody help me milk cows since 2007. That was the year we moved into this barn. We moved in here in March. My uncle was the one who helped milk. He had a stroke in October. So since October 2007, I have milked every milking. There is nobody else. You know, my wife, she'll help feed calves and stuff. But that barn there is cleaned with fork and wheelbarrow. The other heifer barn is cleaned with fork and wheelbarrow. There's about 35 head of cattle between the 2 barns. You know, I'll start 7 o'clock at night doing chores here, and that's feeding these 2 barns. Luckily, this one's cleaned with a skid steer, but I'll clean this barn, clean them barn, feed heifers and stuff. By the time I get done milking and stuff, on a good night, it's 3 o'clock in the morning when I get done. And then if I'm lucky enough to get to sleep, I average at best maybe 4 hours of sleep. You know, a lot of nights I won't fall asleep till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Last night it was 6 o'clock because it was the middle of the month. I had to do bills. I had to get some checks written out, so it was 6 o'clock before I fell asleep. So I don't wake up until 10 o'clock in the morning to start chores. And now, like I say, right now it's 2 o'clock and I'm just finishing up. So I got between 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 7 o'clock at night to get field work done. And like I say, it's all me. The last 3-4 years, I've like filled between 4 and 5 silo bags and done between 600 and 700 bales of hay. And I've been planting corn the last couple of years, so doing all that. But when you get a week of weather where you could do something, but like right now, we get rain, it takes 3-4 days to dry out, and then it rains again. So I don't know what's going to happen. And then you find things like I was saying in the last video about stacking hay. Today was the first day since then that didn't have no rain in the forecast where I could maybe pull them tarps off. I go over there and check them, and the all white mold on the outside. They're molded. Now I'm hoping, I took my moisture tester and I probed the bales, and I'm not getting no hot bales. And 17% was the highest moisture, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'm assuming that because that hay got rained on while it was before I stacked it. I mean, it was like 2 days before I stacked it, that they were still kind of damp from that and sweating out moisture from that, because I really don't see nothing when I dig down into a bale. But all I know is it's molded. Now, as long as it's the outside layer like that, that ain't a problem. Because that's where I get enough hay to bed the heifers. I'll take them outside layers and bed them with it and whatever they don't eat. So hopefully that pile's going to be fine, but I might not have I stack with 74 bales or something there a day. I might have 74 bales of crap. So, like I say, I know I'm not the only one in this boat, but it's getting to the point, do you stay in it? I mean, it's getting frustrating watching other people, basically the trust funds. Anybody that's really making it or either has a trust fund or got an inheritance somewhere, or, you know, I'm third generation, nothing's really been handed to me. My dad never made mega bucks. I mean, I took over from him, and I mean, I'm built it on my own, but let's say that's what's frustrating. I have nothing. In the last couple of years, everything I had saved up is gone. And that's what's going to hurt if I sell the cows. I mean, basically, I spent the last 30 plus years of my life for nothing. But I don't know. I try to be optimistic and think it's going to change, but I really don't think it's going to. But I'm at the age, what the hell else am I going to do? I mean, I would be better off getting a minimum wage job at McDonald's. And it just ain't right. So, yeah, I guess way longer than I thought. It's going to take forever to upload this if I do post it, which I'm probably going to, But yeah, it's like everybody else. I got vent about something here a little bit. I mean, hoping it's going to get better, but at least not until next week it's going to, that's for sure. So, yeah, I got to finish up chores here and figure out what I'm going to do today. I got several projects I should do, and I don't know what the hell to do. I mean, I got $2,000 worth of parts I've bought, but can't get nothing fixed either, so. Well, I'm going to end this here, and thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up. Get your friends to subscribe. Maybe I can get 100,000 subscribers. Maybe I can make money off of YouTube and live the lavish life, you know, like everybody else does. So, thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you later.